Hello everybody, James Rink here. Today I want to share another update about Max Spiers. This update is actually going to be from another individual who has some certain abilities. He's actually another super soldier. He doesn't want his identity made known, which I don't blame him considering what happens when you get in the public forum. But he does have some information about Max Spiers. But actually, maybe, so I guess, so you want me to call you L?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. And so can you give people a little background at why you're even qualified to even comment on this particular information?
Sure. No problem. Well, I think what people need to understand is that these super soldiers have been involved with different factions. There's multiple factions. There's many, and not all of them are friends, and it's not all just one deal. And so the reason why I'm qualified to talk about this is because I've spent the past 20 years of my life recovering memories, figuring out information. I've literally lived all over the world, and I've come to a point where I've recalled different factions I was a part of, and also different factions that I was I guess you could say, a liaison for, and helped to communicate. And because there was warring factions, and I have direct information about that.
All right. Now, you said that Max Spiers, Casbolt, myself, and another parallel reality were part of different super soldier factions.
Yes.
And that they would, in that reality, they were pitted against each other, I guess, by their handlers, so to speak.
Yeah.
But not really because they wanted to fight each other, but because the ones that were controlling them wanted them to.
Yeah.
And so they came into the realization that this was crap and that we needed to work together.
Yes.
So
there was I guess you could say, an information uprising in, I guess you could say, the other reality, where the super soldiers started figuring out that they were being put against each other, and they were the one and the same. They weren't any different, and it was just the faction which was different. And so basically they raised them up and programmed them to have a certain enemy. And so some of these factions are like born enemies that are killing each other on different planets, different colonies, different parts of the universe. And so there was a sort of uprising, or I guess you could say like an enlightenment, where some of these factions started communicating and realizing that they were not any different. And so from what I understand, Spiers and Prince were a part of a similar faction. I label them as a bluish. They had like a blue insignia, blue color. If anybody out there can remote view that, there's different colors associated with different factions. And the blue were, I guess you could say, more of the kind of, they were very aggressive, very tough. And I was a part of multiple because I had an ability where I could interact with different factions. And so I kind of drifted in between over multiple tours. And from what I understand, you were also a part of a faction which was more considered the red or the yellow group. I don't have exact names, but so my point is that there was a war going on. There was a direct conflict between your faction and Max's faction at some point in a parallel reality. And we all met. We all had a contact, a communication, because your faction and Max's faction were warring against each other. And I was kind of doing work to bring you together so that these factions could stop fighting. Because enough of the super soldiers were starting to realize they were being controlled against each other, and there was nothing good coming out of it. So there was a communication and a sort of pact made between many of us. It wasn't just us four. There was me, you, Spiers, Prince. Those are just some of the people that have come out publicly. There are many of us that are still a part of this. Our names aren't out there. So if anybody out there hears this and this resonates with you, then at some point you were also part of this. There was a super soldier uprising where we made a pact where we're going to come into this timeline that we're in right now and try to get truth and information out there. Because this is one of the few realities where we're being so hidden from the truth. Even when we were super soldiers, we knew more, and we were on other planets. We knew more about the universe and technology than way more than we know now. So there was a pact made where we basically said we're going to stop fighting, and we're going to try to connect to our other bodies on the other side, and we were all going to try to connect in this reality. And so there is an energy that has been trying to bring us all together, many of us. And so Prince and Spiers are just two that have become public, and you're one. And so, yeah, and so for people out there that think that James or any of these guys had bad blood between each other, there wasn't. It wasn't. It doesn't work that way. These people had connections on a spiritual, deep level, and were already connected as super soldiers. And so the physical body didn't have all that memory, didn't have all that awareness. So there was always a strong feeling of something not right going on. And so, yeah, that's my point.
Yeah. All right. So you also believe that Max may have contacted you from the other side?
Yeah. Yes.
And so when he actually contacted you, did you actually see a presence, or was it just a feeling? How did that happen?
Yeah, it was. There was the memory of being with you and the other super soldiers, to basically forming that alliance to where the factions were being dissolved. And so also the communication was that, like I told you, this world has been constructed in a way through entertainment and through technology where there are certain people who are more attractive on camera than others. Certain people's voices and body language are much more attractive. And that's Hollywood. That's how actors are chosen. Who is the most presentable on camera? And so basically Max's message was, he was very presentable on camera. He was handsome, he was well spoken, he was intelligent. And so many people listened to him. And so but that doesn't mean that the man in this physical world didn't have some problems too. We all have problems. And so he basically said, I don't want everybody bickering over how I died, because I made a choice when I was ready to leave. He already made that choice in a spiritual level. We all make the choice when we come and go, regardless of how it happens. And he said, I'm gone from there. So what he wants is everybody to connect and get along and use the information to move forward together, and not care about who gets the most ratings or who gets the most views, or if he was really murdered, he didn't give me that information. He said that doesn't matter whether it was drugs, murder. The fact is, I made a choice to go. And so when you make that choice, the universe already sets it up for you. The universe knows when you're going to leave this earth. And that choice is already made before you come and go. So he's basically saying, I'm cool, everything's good over here, and I want to see you guys connect and be real, be authentic. Everybody be authentic as you can, because that's what's most important. Because this system is set up to where being authentic is not accepted. It's not cool. It doesn't get ratings. And so, does that answer your question?
Yeah, so I'd like to elaborate on here. There's some individuals who are, I guess you would say, associates of Max, who believe I shouldn't have brought up any of the drug addiction issues, and I guess they think I should bury it along with his body.
Yeah.
But you said that Max disagrees. That could you elaborate on that?
Yeah. Well, like I said, Max is open to the fact that everybody has problems, and he gets that, and he had problems. And so he wasn't perfect, and he's happy that people are looking at his message of what he was trying to get out. Whether or not he had drug problems, there's no shame in talking about some of the things that could have been happening before he passed. There's no shame in that. In fact, he's flattered that people actually care enough, and that if somebody says, well, yeah, maybe he had some drug issues, maybe that could have contributed, maybe it was murder, maybe it wasn't, he said that's not really the point. The point is, look at the deeper message of what he's trying to say. Be authentic. And whether it's on camera, whether it's on voice, whether it's on a movie, we're not in this for ratings, guys. We're in this to help the world move forward and connect and help each other move forward and get truth out. And that's all he was trying to do. That's what he made a choice to come back into this world for. And that's what many of us super soldiers have made a choice to do, is we realize that we are being pitted against each other. And in this timeline right now, we almost have no truth, no information. And things like YouTube and the internet are one of the only ways we can connect. And so if there are people out there that hear this, and they have this memory too, we need to start connecting. So contact James, contact some of these other people, and let's make friends. Let's make a pact. No malaise against each other. No bad talking. No shit talking. Who cares? That's what Max is saying. Who cares? We got to work, because we don't have a lot of time here, and we got to work together to get some of this information on a bigger scale than this. We shouldn't be focused on, things that are petty. And I know it's not petty if someone dies, but he's saying, if James or anyone else has something negative to say, that's fine. That's okay to look at it from that angle, because it might be true. It's okay to analyze it from that angle, because it's okay to let people know that I had problems. It's okay that Max had problems. We all have problems. Everybody has problems. And if somebody's involved with drugs, it's totally understandable that we should talk about it if they die. And there's there's no offense. There's no anger from him about that. I don't know if I'm
and
quite
you even said that he said thank you because what I did was more authentic than even some of what his so-called friends were doing.
Yeah, he was basically saying, James is being authentic here with what actually happened with us. There was bad blood of somewhat between James and Max, and it wasn't all because they didn't like each other. It's because of what I explained. They were connected as super soldiers already on a different plane than this one. A different I don't know what you call it, parallel reality than this one. Their alters were already connected. And so their physical bodies here were just starting to feel that and wake up to that. So he was saying he was being thankful to James for actually looking at the situation from a well-rounded perspective and not just saying, oh, Max was great and perfect and everything's perfect. He was thankful to James for being authentic, that James wasn't afraid to say what really happened. And that's what it's about. None of us should be afraid or ashamed to talk about the things that might offend some people or upset some people or that are going to get ratings or not get ratings. It's not about ratings. It's about being authentic and not jaded.
I totally believe. I believe that. Did Max give you any information about what? Because you mentioned something about the future. So what would happen if we stopped? We stopped working together. We start fighting with each other, and basically the whole movement falls apart that we started years ago.
Yeah. Well, basically, the worst case scenario is we continue on in a world like this where all of us have no idea what's going on outside this planet, and the people that have power will continue to have power, and it'll be in their hands. Who knows what they'll do with it? So it's basically just, as cliche as it sounds, it's about putting power back into the people that are real and authentic. And if we have real and authentic people that are in charge of leadership, then the planet has a really bright future. But if we don't continue to work together, we're basically just allowing, I guess you could say, unauthentic people to have control of our planet and our information. We don't know the truths of what goes on outside this planet, nor do we have truths about what goes on parallel realities or spiritual levels. We're all basically here to fend for ourselves. We're born, we're raised in a school, we're told everything by our parents, and then we kind of, search YouTube, search the internet. Some of us have very real, deep spiritual experiences, memories, extraterrestrial contact, but we still don't have it all direct. And so the more we work together, we'll eventually get to a point where all the puzzle pieces are put together and we know what's going on. And right now, none of us know what's actually going on for real, 100%. We have pieces, but we don't have the full picture yet. So yeah, basically it's about getting to the point where we have the full picture, where we can be born here and the children are taught about the universe and what's really going on with this planet. And so it's not like this fight and this struggle where everybody's struggling amongst each other, amongst petty issues. Max's death is serious. Anyone who potentially has been murdered or has had some sort of drug overdose is very serious, of course. But we can't bring him back. And he made the choice when he was ready to go. And he's happy with the information he's left here for us. And he does not condone any of us bickering over what did or didn't happen. Of course we want to find out the truth. Of course we do. And for those people that want to, there's nothing wrong with that. But don't lose focus of the point. That's the message. Don't lose focus. What's actually important for the future.
Okay. Does Max have any other final message to share at this time?
Not that I have. That's all that was there. It was very direct, very clear, and that's it.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. And yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm doing the best I can to bring people together, and sometimes it's not easy because I guess in the end of the day, I think so. Like you said, so much of us are all interested in theatrical acts and shows and this and that. And
Yeah.
you forget to realize that there's real people are at stake here, real lives, potential future timelines.
Yeah. And the dark control system has been set up so where we're all, it's meant for us to get caught in that trap where we're all bickering over things like that, where we're losing the point, and things like ratings and how, someone looks on camera or what that person says or didn't say, or, all becomes like a matrix we get stuck in. And so regardless of any of that crap, we're all seeking the same future and the same message. And so just be very careful about where your head is getting caught, especially when it comes to these sensitive issues with people.
Okay, thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah,
And again, if you'd like to learn more information, please visit supersoldiertalk.com. It's where you can not only watch other videos about Max and so on, as well as get some other updates about the Super Soldier MyLab phenomenon. And also visit neologicaltech.com to help support the work that I do as well. And once again, thanks everybody for listening in, and bye-bye.